Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Breakthrough Blueprint, where we talk to entrepreneurs about how they became successful today. And I have with me my friend Dallion. I'll hand it over to him to introduce himself.
Hello, que mi gente. It's Dallion King, aka Ghost. I'm a agentic architect. I develop apps for companies large and small, and I help people just like you do the same thing.
Amazing. And how did you get started in AI?
So AI was a effect of being a trader, and I was developing a platform. I still am developing a platform. It's called SigmaView. It's an agentic hedge fund. And, for people that probably know me a little bit, I used to play professional basketball for 10 years. My whole thing was basketball. COVID hit, learned how to trade. Mentor was an algorithmic trader, learned how to create algos. I was like, I need to build my own platform. Started building my own platform for it. And then the dev team that I hired was a total waste of time. AI became a thing, a problem they couldn't solve. I solved it with AI. I told them to go screw themselves, and I started doing it myself.
Amazing. Have you always been a technical person?
Yes.
Did you
Yeah.
study software engineering or anything?
Nope. I'm a college drop. Well, I am a GED high school dropout, and I am a college dropout. And I got my scholarship offers that I got from Montclair University in Jersey was for writing. Always been a good writer. And yeah, and then I got an offer to play professionally my freshman year. Never turned back.
It's amazing. So, if COVID hadn't happened, do you think you would still be playing basketball?
Yes. I'm still very much able to.
Hmm.
Based on how I feel right now, even if I'm out of shape, yeah, I'll still be playing. But I've always been a hustler. So like, even if I came across, because at that point in time, I don't know how more familiar you are with that trading scene. That's when like that whole MLM thing was happening. The reason I got into trading is because my friend was part of that, and I didn't know what it was, right? And then
Hmm.
obviously I didn't like the recruiting part, but what did interest me was the trading part. And the thing about me is that once I dive into something, I'm in it. Like I'm fully in it. And that, I taught myself how to play ball. I taught myself how to trade. I taught myself how to code. I taught myself everything. And that all just comes from hustling through it.
It's amazing. So, then what brought you to Colombia?
Freedom. My slogan is freedom is always the goal. So, I've never been one to follow rules. I've never been one, like I just said, I've done everything by myself. So I don't really, like being in the States didn't make sense anymore. People that ask me this question and they say, well, how does it, how did you do the transition or whatever? I'm just like, I always preference with the fact that I've been playing overseas for 10 years. So my exposure to what's outside the United States is different than most people, right? Like
Mhm.
propaganda doesn't affect me because what the US is talking crazy about, probably already been there and experienced the total opposite. You know what I'm saying? So it's really one of those things like, I played in DR for most of the time. I'm Dominican and Jamaican. So like I played in Dominican Republic and, life out there, honestly, obviously, if you have a little bit of money,
Mhm.
it's totally different and it's peaceful. And the only reason I'm not in DR right now is because the way I view DR is like retirement state. That's a retirement country. You don't get a lot done in DR. You know what I'm saying? Like you're chilling versus in Medellin when I came here. This is during the time where I was like raising capital for a company and when I first experienced it, I loved it immediately because um it's like you get everything that you need to feel like you're in the States or in the city. But it's almost like because we're from the States, it's like we time travel to the past in
Mhm.
terms of how things operate. And there's just so much more freedom, right? And yeah, and it's just productive as well because there's a lot of people that think like you or me and you connect easier. It's less convincing.
Definitely, definitely. So then you said you've raised money for different ventures already. Like, is that just through your personal network, or how do you go about doing that?
Yeah, personal network. Eventually, there's a reason why they call me Ghost. I don't, I don't like the whole like. If money comes with me having to bend a knee, I'll easily say no.
Hmm.
And because at the end of the day, like for me, it's just money, right? I was raising money to get personnel.
Hmm.
Don't no longer need personnel. So now I have the skill set to do whatever I want to do. If I
Hmm.
want to raise money, I'll just build a company, raise my then that's I've been doing that for years now. Right. I'll just launch something, raise the capital, and then just cycle through. Yeah, that's my thing. Like, it's not that I don't play well with others. I just don't bend the knee. And most people don't like that, especially if they feel entitled to and giving you the money and stuff like that. That's not my
Definitely.
thing.
Yeah. So then with your trading platform, like, can you talk to me about like what stage is that in? And
So Sigma View stands for Sigma's Vision. I redesigned it 3 times. And that's just to keep up with the technology. Coming from the trading industry, right? When I first launched Sigma View, it was like, I don't know if you're familiar with the Trading View platform where you can see the charts. Well, there's a platform called Trading View. You can see the charts and do your analysis. You can build bots on there, but they don't automate. So you had to use webhooks, which is basically just, singing ping pongs on the server. That was inefficient because by the time the alert would happen, trade is done, right? Like it's too slow. People were complaining, shut down the company, redesigned it. And I redesigned it where everything's internal in the app.
Mhm.
Now, that is where we get a little technical. Agentic orchestration has changed dramatically just within the past 6 months. I'm a big advocate for harness engineering because it's no longer the model's problem. It's not a problem if the LLM can do it. It's a problem of how you provide not only the context, but the harness around the context for the agent to do its job effectively, right? So, the same way that I've developed my own harnesses for coding, I've had to redesign the way that the harness is built for trading. Memory layers, how the agents communicate with each other, how they communicate with their tools. It's different from having it local on your computer versus having it in the cloud. So there was just so many things that I went from like lane graph and it was sequential. And then everyone's building the same thing with trading. Like, oh, they'll make a sequential little here's your trader, here's your news, here's stocks and stuff like that. And I'm like, okay, that's you're not get it's not powerful enough and you're still required to be there, right? And you get all the same looking dashboards, right? In the next 6 months, right, it's no longer going to be human in the loop. It's going to be pure agent observability. So what I did with SigmaView was it still has that dashboard layout at the moment, but there's going to be a part where is no longer the dashboard. You're going to be interacting with the agents on a trading floor, like Sims, because you no longer need to be there. They're making the decisions. You might get a text message if you need, you know what I'm saying, to see it, but it's going to get to the point where the platform itself runs itself. And that's what's take so with Sigma you so long. Coming from the perspective of I don't have a team, how do I build this so I don't need a team? So Sigma View itself is just one big ass harness that loops itself into improvements. And all you gotta do is watch and let it trade. So I'm partnering up with Ninja Trader and different trading platforms. And right now with Ninja Trader and Tradeovate and CME Futures, they did an audit on the platform and there was a bunch of concerns or compliance things I need to abide by. So at this moment, I had like 200 and something tasks from them that I needed to do. And right now I'm down to 50. So I'm almost about to launch.
How did you establish that partnership?
They had a vendor program. So if you wanted to be a vendor, you just apply. They do a background check on your life and you pass the background test and you can apply to be a vendor. And I get access to certain API data and stuff like that. It's also community based. It's also based on who you are. You have to promote them, blah, blah, blah.
So then how do people like subscribe to this program? Is it a monthly fee or
So there is 100 spots at the monthly subscription. And then after that, it's going to be more of a high ticket offer. Reason being is trading space is very finicky. And for me, it's not about quantity. It's definitely about the quality of people using it.
Mhm.
So yeah, so there will be 100 spots at a monthly offer, and then everything else will be more high ticket based on license because it's not a platform; it's really a bot. You're licensing the software because once you sign up, you put your information, connect your account, you do nothing. So it's trading for you
Mhm.
in the form of a platform instead of having to build the bot for a platform.
Mhm. Interesting. Yeah, I mean, because I'm hearing more about these AI driven, whether it's trading platforms or like crypto trade platforms, or just there's so many things that are popping up. And I think a lot of them are not regulated. I'm not really sure how all of it works, but definitely I'm not the most technical person. I've worked in technical sales for a long time, but I'm not an engineer by any means. So for me, as someone who is an investor and wants to diversify and like look into different options, what do you suggest are the things that I should look for in a trading platform or a bot?
Well, I had a podcast I did a long time ago, and I said the same thing. If the developer can't articulate to you the strategy, don't do it, right? So like now, the trading platforms that are popping up are crypto.
Mhm.
Technically, the reason being is because crypto data is free, so it's easy to develop on. What makes trade like what I'm doing, and doesn't mean I'm not going to do crypto or whatever, but like stock data is free. You can sign up to Alpaca and get stock data. You can get uh, crypto data free. You can get Forex data free. Futures and Chicago Exchange, data is not free, right? And it's heavily licensed. So building systems on top of that data is not only harder to access, but it takes more compute to trade on and digest.
Mhm.
So if you're looking to diversify simply for yourself, all you really have to do is talk to your agent, right? What I'm building takes out the you part. You connect your accounts and the systems do everything for you, like a hedge fund. The platform was inspired by the show Billions. Like I'm very into like I get inspired by certain TV shows and the agents, talk amongst themselves and make decisions and just like the show Billions, right? And then you have Bobby and all them trading for you. And, there's a different type of harness engineering and, agentic engineering that goes into that. But you can literally just go to your Claude and be like, listen, I have $10,000. I want to diversify between crypto stocks and let's just say crypto and stocks. Here's the API keys to Alpaca. Here's the API keys to Hyperliquid. Can we set up based on research? Let's start talking about stocks and then let's start talking about crypto. And I just want to create a strategy where every once in a while I'm taking some money and investing it, whether it's dollar cost averaging, whether you see an opportunity for a quick trade based on news, and then Claude has done something really well where it's just like they saw OpenClaw and said, oh, this is what people want. So let's just build it ourselves. And then every week there's a new feature that matches what people are doing with OpenClaw manually. Loop, schedule, on job, right? Like everything is they're just building the ecosystem. If you're a starter entrepreneur or whatever, all the tools and features that you need is on your Claude. And all you gotta do is articulate the end goal. That's it.
So how are people going, like, I know you said it'll be open to 100 people at first. Like, are people just finding you on Instagram organically or like,
Yeah, right now I'm just doing the organic thing. My whole thing is to prove competence. So it's because in the trading space, right, you have, the fake trading gurus and blah, 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 and all these other things. What I love about AI is that you can't fake it. It's really hard. Like you can't, it's like I have to provide you the proof of it working. And then I have to, if I give you a prompt, did the prompt do what it do? Like you're going to experience it immediately, right? So SigmaView is on the link in my bio, or you can go to sigmavue.io and the website's there and you can go on the wait list. Right now, my main focus is Lion's Paw, which is my agentic community where I teach people how to learn. I teach people AI 101, all the way from what is a LLM to how do I build my first app to harness engineering, agentic engineering. And then after that, it's videos about my setup. I give you guys code, right? And that's why I've seen a lot of different things between what I'm doing and what other creators are doing in the space. They're giving prompts and .md files. 9 times out of 10, it's an open source repo. They're saying, here's access to. You know what I'm saying? So you don't gotta have to go find it. And this is how I use it. Cool. I'm giving out boilerplates. Here's some website templates. Here's some fully blown apps that I built that I'm not using that you can take and fork it and build whatever you want. Like prompts for system setup to match mine. So like I'm giving away full blown code that's made by me or customized by me at least for some things, right? And people are able to use what I build immediately. And then they can, through the process, where they're going to learn how to build it themselves or enhance it themselves to their workflow, to their lifestyle. And then there's Lion's Paw, which is the runtime, which is the what people understand as OpenClaw or Hermes agent. That's a runtime. So I have my own runtime as an app that's going to come with its own marketplace. The agent comes with his own computer. Like I built like a whole thing for that. That'll be ready in a few weeks, but then the community members will have all of that. But yeah, so there's Lions Paw Academy with the Lions Paw runtime, and then there's SigmaView. And then I teach people in Lions Paw Academy how to build something like SigmaView. I have a whole trading track, how to use AI to trade. So yeah, like all of that's in the link in bio, and I drop reels on different parts of what I'm doing all the time. And I'm planning on getting on YouTube.
Wow. Sounds like you're a busy person. Now I understand why you said you don't go out.
Yeah, because for me, it's like it's like art, bro. Like for someone like me, this is like the perfect time to be alive because I've been so independent forever. Now you're giving me superpowers to do whatever I want and scale infinitely, and all I have to do is learn it. And this is the easiest part to learn, right? Because
Hmm.
again, the LLMs are so competent to the point where you can say the stupidest things and you're still gonna get a good output, right? 4.7 just dropped yesterday. I have a lot of people that, I never thought I'd be in the position where I see the people that I was learning from call me for consultation.
Wow. It's amazing.
So it's like it's now getting to the point where it's like, okay, I know I'm elite at this, but there's people that also believe I'm elite at this because of, I've done everything from how do I create the loops? How do I create the pipeline system where it self-checks its work, UI validation, overnight loops? Can I do it from my phone? How fast can I get an app out? And you know what I'm saying? Like now it's just like little challenges, but these challenges turn into learning modules for yourself, the AI, and now you're freeing yourself from having to be in front of the computer and still be just as effective
Hmm.
and make money. So it's like, this is like everything trading couldn't do for most people
Mm.
if you spend half the time that you have to spend learning how to trade. And that's my
Hmm.
benchmark against it. You know what I mean? Like, this is true freedom because it's creative freedom across all realms. You can use Claude Code to code, marketing, ops, operation, scale infinitely in any direction, and you just have to create the system around it for yourself. And yeah, bro, I love it.
That's amazing. So then, like, what is your ultimate goal? I know you mentioned freedom, but like after you build these, I'm sure you'll have more ideas to build other things, but like, what are your long-term life goals?
I would like to think that I've already been offered, but at some point I'm either going to sell SigmaView or I'm going to sell Lion's Ball because everything AI is nothing but data collection made readily accessible. It predicts the next token based on the data that it's trained on. So data is data. So the brand is big enough, the information is good enough, right? That's why Pete got bought out by ChatGPT because the marketing ploy is people want this. It's an AI wrapped up in a logo because the concept of what OpenClaw is was done a month into when Claude Code came out. Someone gave Claude Code a computer and it did everything OpenClaw does. Difference was as agentic things got more progressive and whatever, people forgot. He popped out with this, went viral. ChatGPT gave him a job and now saying, hey, Claude may not want to give you the subscription access to OpenClaw, but we're going to give it to you. Why? Because the brand is so big with OpenClaw that if people are utilizing ChatGPT subscriptions for OAuth and their main competitor isn't, they're going to get more data from usage. Therefore, they're going to build products around the usage of OpenClaw,
Mhm.
right? And Anthropic went the direct opposite direction. They didn't need that because Claude Code is so freaking popular. They're getting that type of information regardless. So the way that I see it is data collection is everything, right? Especially when it comes to trading and stuff like that. There's different avenues in which I'm trying to leverage how to get whether not user data, because that is going to go to the LLM, but how the user leverages AI and systems like that as data and then exit either one of these companies or both of them. Because I have ideas every day, every night, and it all comes down to how can I further distance myself from this? How can I just run everything off this phone and trust that the system is going to be done right? So
Mhm.
I'm always having, engineering ideas. When it comes to products, I have those as well, but they're least important because all I got to do is open up a terminal, articulate it, and I have a system that by the time I get to my computer, the app is built. So it's not even fun anymore. I'm having more fun building the harness that allows me to do that. So you know what I mean? So like how far can I distance myself from the computer? By the time I get to the farthest point and I'm getting the same output of or better than when I was sitting in front of my computer, that's when I know I have something that who wants to buy it, right? And that only comes with experience and trying and tinkering with the toys. So my end goal is sell, get out, and go back to DR and live on a beach. Long-winded answer for that, but context is king.
Interesting. So when do you think that timeline is going to be? Or when do you want it to be where you're back at DR?
In the next like 3 to 5 years, 100%. Next 3 to 5 years,
But until then, you'll be here in
because
Colombia.
the quality of life you get 10x better. I don't even got to work as hard. I'm just doing it to prove a point at this point. I'm just doing it just to do it. I can do it
Mhm.
right now, but now it's just Kobe mentality. I just want to be the best.
I love that. Well, just to wrap things up here, then, what advice do you have for people that want to do what you're doing?
Information is free. Start there. YouTube Academy, right? I may charge for information, but the reason I do is because I provide the code, the platform, and everything like that. Like Lions Paw, I built that from scratch. It's my own course academy. Everyone's on school. I built my own. I have that. So, but if you want to get into AI, don't start with a prompt, start with the problem. Go to your AI, and the best way to prompt it is to ask it how to get to the end goal. In your earlier example, when you were talking about trading, you go to Claude. Hey, Claude, I have $10,000. I don't know how to trade. My end goal is to at least make 5% a month across maybe investments in crypto and stocks and, have some short-term holds, long-term holds, but I don't know how to go about it. If I gave you my Alpaca API key, what research can you do on your own behalf where we can create a system to do that? And interview me as you come up with ideas. That's your whole prompt, right? Because you have to allow the LLM to come up with his own ideas. And yeah, like there's so much information out there on YouTube, and it's just like trading, right? But you can trust a lot of it to be either really good or really bad. There is no guessing because the influencers are showing you the output, right? And then yes, they could provide you the prompts, they could do whatever, but it's up to you to actually sit in front of the computer and type out and experience what that is for you to fully understand not only terminology or whatever, but damn, like it really did that. When I first saw Claude Code take over my Tradeovate and execute trades, I had to look at SigmaView and go, okay, how do I make SigmaView future proof? Because I'm trading from my terminal, but I also have to remember as someone that knows what the fuck they're doing. You know what I'm saying? Now, a lot of people but there's still people afraid of going to the terminal. So you wrap it up nice and pretty and you make something like SigmaView, like a clean dashboard, but it's doing the same thing my terminal's doing, right? Which is why I went the direction of like, let me just teach people how to do this. There's always going to be room for people that don't know or don't want to know how to do it that's going to use SigmaView. The world
Yeah.
is very big, very, very big, and there is no competition. Again, the world is big. I worked at different trading platform companies and built so many different things. You only need a good 200 customers to make a difference. I can find 200 people in any city that I'm in. Then you scale outside of that, and outside of that, there's 8 billion, 10 billion people in the world that never heard of the same competitor that you're worried about.
Yeah. That's true.
So, like, whatever you're building, when it comes to AI, you have to experience first, learn for free, find someone you trust, go down that route, right?
Mhm.
Then, when it comes to building something, don't get lost in the hype of AI and everyone's doing this, everyone's doing that. No, they're not. The guys that you found because you are in the 1% of people that even know what AI is, found this one guy that may be doing the same thing you're trying to do, and you're letting that pollute your brain
Yeah.
because there's a difference between the people that you see on Instagram and the people that you see on Twitter. There's a reason why I don't go on Twitter. I go on Twitter to learn. I don't go on Twitter to promote or market because there's a bunch of people there that could do what I do, if not better. On Instagram, those are the people that are willing to learn from you and buy, right?
Definitely.
It's a different audience. So it's just that. Like these are all the lessons that, as simple as they are, especially as your ideas flow and you're building more and building more, you can easily get discouraged because like, oh, you're seeing all these people have the same tools you have. and they just built the same feature. No, that one guy in a dark room in Wisconsin somewhere built what you built and doesn't know how to monetize it. You do, right? So it's like, world is vast, AI is vast. We're still very early, you know, focus on the harness engineering aspect of AI because it's getting to the point where all you got to do is say simple things and things get built. So now you have to learn how to be a carpenter of AI, build the structure around it, right? And you're going to get better outputs based on what you're trying to get done. And that's it.
Mhm. Love it. Amazing. Well, thank you so much for joining me here today.
Thank you for having me.
And for everyone else, please tune into the next episode of the Breakthrough Blueprint.